and the top 10 televised events. Number 10, the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster.
And liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
With teacher Krista McAuliffe on board and hundreds of school children watching in real time, the Challenger launch was to be the first of its kind.
In what appears to be a major catastrophe in America's space program, Challenger, only seconds after leaving the launch pad, according to NASA, has exploded in midair.
Though CNN transmitted the sole live broadcast, news of the disaster spread like wildfire through other networks. Because the media focused on the story's human element and tragic moments for dramatic effect, it became a hot topic for several weeks and changed future news reporting.
Today is a day for mourning and remembering. Nancy and I are pained to the core by the tragedy of the Shuttle Challenger. We know we share this pain with all of the people of our country.
Number 9, the Munich Massacre.
And we're moving in now on the windows behind which, at this moment, 8 or 9 terrified living human beings are being held prisoner.
Since the initial attack on the Israeli athletes at the 1972 Summer Olympics by Black September took place in the wee hours of the morning, the cameras weren't yet rolling. But once morning came along, the media covered the response so well that the Palestinian terrorists already knew when and how the German border police were preparing to attack them.
It is 5 o'clock. This is the deadline. The storming, if it is going to happen, could happen at any moment.
Unfortunately, the Munich massacre resulted in the deaths of the hostages and several others.
They've now said that there were 11 hostages. 2 were killed in their rooms yesterday morning. 9 were killed at the airport tonight. They're all gone.
Number 8, the Tiananmen Square protests. As the Beijing student protests turned into the Tiananmen Square massacre, the Western world witnessed social unrest in a foreign and unreachable location for the first time via their TVs.
In China, the will of the people has been thwarted by the will of the people's government.
Though most networks were barred from broadcasting the violent military crackdown, their real-time reporting went on to boost live television coverage of international events. It also influenced Western policymakers to implement economic sanctions and arm restrictions on China.
On the streets leading down to the main road to Tiananmen Square, furious people stared in disbelief at the glow in the sky, listening to the sound of shots.
Number 7, the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. After the most powerful earthquake the country had ever seen struck an area near Tohoku, a potent tsunami washed over Japan and killed thousands. Japanese TV networks and CNN were there to capture this horrifying act of nature. Though the continuous footage of the destruction caused by the deadly waters shocked the world, the coverage also encouraged a massive worldwide relief response.
The agency is warning that the tsunami could reach between 6 and 10 meters.
Number 6, the assassination and funeral of John F. Kennedy. The assassination of the 35th President of the United States ushered in the age of TV news by giving people instant access to unfolding developments through moving pictures.
The flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
2 days after JFK's death, NBC aired continuous footage of the overnight public viewing. His funeral was then watched by approximately 180 million on television the next day. Millions later witnessed the shooting of sniper Lee Harvey Oswald in a real-time broadcast as well.
He's been shot. He's been shot.
Number 5, the fall of the Berlin Wall. It took almost 30 years for the barrier dividing West Berlin from East Berlin to finally be torn down. Following protests and growing crowds of East German refugees making their way to the West, the authorities were forced to open the gates.
The East German government said tonight they were going to make more openings in the wall, at least a dozen more. Put bulldozers right through the wall.
For the next few weeks, TV audiences worldwide watched as the Germans came together to demolish the wall, and communism in Germany as well.
If there is someone who sleeps for 8 weeks and you told him what happened here, he thinks you're crazy.
Number 4, the Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami.
20 minutes after earthquake, people see in the sea have water, wave.
Resulting in over 230,000 casualties. The Sumatra Andaman earthquake is one of history's most fatal natural disasters. The megathrust tremor generated multiple tsunamis off Indonesia's western coast and affected 14 countries with the ensuing floods. While widespread media coverage of these images shocked the world, it also triggered a massive global response in terms of donations and relief efforts. Number 3, the September 11th attacks. Everyone remembers where they were, what they were doing, and what they felt when they heard news of the shocking Al-Qaeda terrorist attacks.
It appears that there is more and more fire and smoke enveloping the very top of the building.
Moments after the World Trade Center was hit, media outlets quickly picked up live feeds that glued worldwide audiences to their TV sets. So, when another plane crashed into the South Tower less than 20 minutes later, it was truly a moment no one will ever forget.
Oh my God, the plane just crashed into the building.
Coverage of the tragedy and its aftermath changed the way Western news was reported globally and became the lengthiest continuous news event to be covered in American television.
There was smoke everywhere and people are jumping out the windows. Over there, they're jumping out the windows, I guess because they're trying to save themselves. I don't know.
Number 2, the Apollo 11 moon landing.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
This giant leap for mankind was also a giant leap for the United States. The live television broadcast of astronaut Neil Armstrong's Small Step for Man placed America at the head of the space race. Though he set foot at 10:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, over 500 million people around the world experienced history in the making. Thanks to the magic of television, the recorded footage took less than 1.5 seconds to reach Earth. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187.
Some 60 Americans, including our fellow citizen whom you just saw bound and blindfolded, are now beginning their 6th day of captivity inside the U.S. Embassy in Tehran.
Ladies and gentlemen, the smoke and the flames now, and the flame is rising to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. All the humanity and all the passengers screaming around it.
It is an enormously impressive effort, a humane effort, to do what is necessary to reduce this threat against our country and that region, and to eliminate a regime that has killed hundreds of thousands of human beings.
General Meyer, Secretary.
Number 1, the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
A lone B-29 was over Hiroshima carrying an atomic bomb.
The atomic bombings of these 2 Japanese cities during World War II remains the only time nuclear weapons were dropped during a global war. Thanks to footage captured by the U.S. War Department, few will ever forget the mushroom clouds that developed after the Little Boy and Fat Man bombs exploded over Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Everywhere I passed through, all the houses were destroyed.
The result was over 240,000 deaths, with newsreels capturing the aftermath. Things would never be the same.
Inside, the flash burns on the chairs give eloquent testimony on the heat of the blast a mile from zero point, which singed the mohair upholstery like a blowtorch.
Do you agree with our list?
What happened?
I don't know.
You don't know? Anybody know? No, it's not Munich massacre? No?
John.
Okay. John F. Yeah, the assassination of JFK, John F. Kennedy. Yeah, so why we call it not murder? Because if you know someone famous killed, yeah, we call it assassination. Jadi kalau untuk orang yang terkenal dibunuh itu bukan murder tapi namanya assassination. Yeah, okay. He was shot. Yeah, he was shot at 12:30 p.m. siang hari ya. Okay, when doing the parade, yeah, he was shot. Jadi dia ditembak. Yeah, and he died there. Okay, then next. What happened on September 11th, 2001? Gailan? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Gailan, what happened? Gailan?
Plane attacks.
Yes?
Plane
Gailan?
attack. Plane attacks.
Attack. Okay, what attack? What attack?
They crashed to a building.
To a building. What do you know? What do you call the building? Apa nama buildingnya? Do you know? Okay, World Trade Center or the WTC attack, yeah, on September the 11th, 2001. People call it with Ground Zero. If you still remember that, ya. Kalau masih ingat ada ucapan Ground Zero, that's the WTC attack, ya. September 11, 2001, and still now it's conspiracy. Masih masih banyak sekali konspirasi tentang penyerangan WTC ini, ya. Oke, sekarang ini. Jadi ada yang menganggap bahwa WTC ini serangan teroris, ada juga yang menganggap buatan Amerika sendiri. Kok bisa gedungnya ditabrak 2 pesawat tiba-tiba bisa hancur semuanya, ya, kalau tidak dibom, diledakkan, ya. Oke, dengan sendirinya. Nah, itu pasti banyak teori-teori konspirasi yang beredar. Okay, now let's move on. What happened on the 13th of June 1990? Rafael, tanggal 13 Juni 1990. What happened in the world?
I don't know, sir.
Anybody know? Ada yang tahu? What happened? The fall of the Berlin Wall. Ya, jatuhnya Berlin Wall. Jadi the history is that dulu Jerman itu dipisah oleh dinding. Jadi contohnya misalnya Sumatera, ya. Sumatera Selatan ini antara Palembang dengan Indralaya dipisah dinding. Jadi orang Indralaya nggak bisa ke Palembang, orang Palembang nggak bisa ke Indralaya, ya, jadinya gitu. Nah, jadi dipisah oleh dinding. Nah, akhirnya dinding itu jatuh. Akhirnya Jerman Barat dan Jerman Timur akhirnya disatukan lagi. Ya, namanya the fall of the Berlin Wall, tanggal on the 13th of June 1990. Okay, what happened in December 26, 2004? Anybody know?
Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami.
Okay, Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami. Yeah, so Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami, and it struck Aceh. Yeah, mostly Aceh, Padang. Yeah, Padang Aceh. Yeah. And there are Melaboh, if you remember, yeah. Okay, and caused 1,000 deaths, yeah. Okay. What happened on August 6, 1945?
Atomic bombing.
Atomic bomb of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Okay, good. Atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Yeah. Do you still remember how many death toll? Berapa jumlah orang yang meninggal? Right, because of the time warning, just remember, ingat, it's 214,000 disebutkan, ya, 214,000 yang meninggal, ya, 216,000 died because of atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Alright. Oke, karena inilah Indonesia merdeka. Mungkin bisa jadi kalau ini nggak ada, mungkin Indonesia merdekanya mungkin bukan tahun 1945, ya. Bisa mungkin tahun-tahun berikutnya. Tapi Indonesia pasti merdeka, ya. Oke. Let's see next, ya. Oke. Nah, this is the way if we want to say date in English. Ini adalah cara kita untuk mengucapkan tanggal dalam bahasa Inggris. Coba silakan difoto atau dicatat, boleh? Ya. Okay, so in written English, there are 2 ways of saying the date in English. Ada 2 cara untuk mengatakan tanggal dalam bahasa Inggris. Cara yang pertama adalah menggunakan cara American, ya. Cara American. Kalau kamu lihat di situ, ya, American ada bendera Amerika. Dia menyebutnya dari bulan dulu, March, and then after that day, 7, ya. Opennya March 7. bicaranya March 7, kemudian di belakangnya bisa juga dikasih tanda TH, ya, karena dia bilangannya bilangan ordinal, ya. Even if the TH is not written, an ordinal number is still said. Walaupun tidak dituliskan TH-nya, tetap disebut ordinal number. Jadi bacanya March 7, ya. Oke. And for the English, British, ya, bendera Inggris itu di bawahnya, bacanya tanggal dulu, ya. Tanggal dulu baru bulan, the 7th of March, ya. Kadang-kadang pakai off di situ, walaupun tidak tertulis, the 7th of March. Nah, cara menulisnya kalau American bulan dulu 3/7/17, ya. Kalau British 7/3/17. Nah, jadi tinggal pilih aja kita mau cara yang American or British. Okay, now we look at the date now, ya. We always use ordinal number for the date in spoken English. Jadi kita biasa menggunakan bilangan tingkat, ke-1, ke-2, ke-3, ke-4, dan seterusnya untuk menjelaskan tanggal dalam bahasa Inggris. For example, the 1st, ya, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, ya, the 5th, the 6th, 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th. Nah, itu, ya. Jadi silakan menggunakan bilangan ordinal untuk hari, ya. Oke. Karena bilangan ini tidak sampai 100, ya. Kalau tanggal ini paling banyak 31, the 31st, ya. Oke. Kemudian month always start with a capital letter. Jadi bulan itu selalu dimulai dengan huruf besar, ya. August, like that, ya. Bukan yang August yang huruf kecil. Big letter, ya, capital letter. And then years are normally divided into 2 parts. Biasanya tahun itu dibagi menjadi 2. Ya, seperti contoh 1984, jadi bagi 2, 19 dulu. 19 itu sebutannya 19. Ya, 84, 84. So 1984. 1652, 1616, 52, 52. 1941, 1919, 41, 41, 41. Ya. 2017, 2017, 2017. 2020, 2020, atau bisa disebut sebagai double 20 bisa. Ya, oke. Exception, pengecualian. For the years from 2000 to 2010, we normally say 2000 and plus number. Jadi untuk tahun 2000 sampai 2010 kita bisa menggunakan 2000 dan angkanya. Jadi misal contoh 2001, 2001. Oke. Oke, Hafiz, you can go. And then 2006, for example 2006, ya. Oke. Sampai 2010 saja. Sisanya tetap menggunakan yang divided into 2 parts, ya. Oke. And then what day is this? Tanggal berapa ini? Itu untuk menanyakan tanggal, what day is it? Atau what day is this? 3518. 3518. Kalau dia pakai American way, berarti itu tanggal 5 bulan 3. Ya. Nah, beda kalau misalnya British. Kalau British, dia itu berarti tanggalnya tanggal 3 bulan 5. Beda jauh kan? Hati-hati ya, big difference. Jadi bedanya jauh. Jadi kalau pakai American berarti itu 3518 berarti itu bulan Maret. Tapi kalau pakai British, secara British is the 3rd of 3518 itu berarti itu bulannya bulan 5 tanggal 3. Beda ya. Beda 2 bulan dia. Jadi jangan sampai salah dalam mengartikan arti angka 3518. Jadi lihat dulu kalau formnya itu asalnya dari negara Inggris, berarti dia pakai cara Inggris. Jadi 3518 itu berarti 3-nya itu tanggal, 5-nya itu bulan. Tapi kalau misalnya dia itu formnya pakai form Amerika, USA, maka dia berarti tanggalnya di belakang, bulannya di depan. Ya, berarti 3 itu adalah bulan Maret, 5 itu berarti adalah tanggal tanggal harinya, ya. Oke. That's it. So far, is there any question? Ada pertanyaan sejauh ini? No? Nah, sekarang kita latihan. Oke, silakan diisi dulu jawabannya. Okay, finish. Okay, let's try it ya. Kita coba ya. Okay. Coba. You say the number ya. You say the answer. Okay. Right. You say the answer. Now I'm going to ask Nashira, number 3. What do you say?
The 22nd of May.
You both say American and British. Jadi pakai dua cara itu sebutnya ya, sebutannya. Oke. Yep. Preview.
Saya nggak tadi nggak kedengar.
Ya, kamu coba sebutkan pakai cara British and American. Say that, Mel.